Welcome back to the smartest year ever, our quest to become the world's greatest conversationalist. My name is Gordy, and because it's Mystery Week, I was just wondering, do you know what this says? What if someone handed you a 600-year-old book filled with drawings of unknown plants, strange diagrams of nude women soaking in green tubs, and the entire thing was written in a language that no one on Earth could read? Give me 5 minutes. I bet you can use this in conversation today. And like and subscribe if you haven't so you can keep up. I do this every single day. 1912, a rare book dealer named Wilfrid Voynich was poking around an old Jesuit college in Italy when he found something odd, a tattered handwritten manuscript filled with a strange script and bizarre illustrations. I'll be putting actual pictures of the pages I found interesting from the document throughout this video, so you can just see them all yourself. I'll just cycle them through. I also listed the source of the PDF that I used. I looked through the whole thing on the first one on the YouTube description. So if you want to go check it out after, you should check it out and just flip through it. It's really wild. But so the manuscript was clearly old. It was written on vellum or calfskin parchment, but the language wasn't Latin. It wasn't Greek. It wasn't anything familiar. In fact, it wasn't really anything at all that we've ever been able to identify. It's very beautiful, though. It's like a very, it's a very pretty, neat language. It reminds me of something from The Lord of the Rings, something like that. It's very fantastical in a way, a little ethereal. Voynich brought it back to London, and for the past 100 years, it has baffled everyone who's looked at it. Today, it's known as the Voynich Manuscript, and it might be the most mysterious book in the world. It contains about 240 pages, though some are missing. It's been carbon dated to the early 1400s, specifically between 1404 and 1438, and the script doesn't match any known alphabet. The writing style is smooth and confident, like whoever wrote it could read it, but no one else ever has. And if it was pure gibberish, the writer sure spent a lot of time neatly adding his gibberish to the pages. But then there are illustrations, which I consider more average. They're cool and creative, but they're not as technically masterful as I find the language to be, or at least to appear. I feel the language is so ornate and a little hypnotizing, but the art's more basic, but still pretty dang interesting, because these are botanical diagrams, plants that look familiar but they can't be identified in any catalog. One researcher thinks that this may be due to how herbs were portrayed hundreds of years ago as less of a scientific endeavor and more of this representation of their appearance combined with their magical medicinal properties. You kind of embellish what the herb looks like to try to represent what they do to you. But I mean, most people just don't those plants aren't real. And there are also astrological charts with zodiac signs and star patterns that also don't quite line up with any known system. And perhaps what will jump out to you the most when you look through it will be naked women bathing in what looks like interconnected green tubes, often holding spheres, or standing in pools that seem to be part of some biological network. And they remind me of some little tiny pagan garden fairies or something like that. Some scholars have divided the manuscript into sections herbal, astronomical, biological, pharmaceutical, and recipes, but that's about as far as anyone's gotten because no one can read it. Over the past century, the Voynich manuscript has been studied by cryptographers, historians, linguists, computer scientists, and even the NSA. Alan Turing's own colleagues tried, and so did World War II codebreakers, and still nothing. One Canadian AI project claimed that it found linguistic patterns resembling Hebrew, but it couldn't produce a readable translation. Most experts believe it's not even a substitution cipher. It might be written in an invented language, or worse, it could just be gibberish. I was curious about a few things. So this is what I looked up. First, it does appear to be written left to right, as indicated by the formatting, the alignment, and that slight rightward tilt of the letters. The manuscript has clear word breaks, it has repeated patterns, and what seem to be a consistent grammar-like structure. So there is some consistency. Certain words appear with regular frequency and consistent prefixes and suffixes. One word even appears over 300 times, and others never appear more than once. And this whole word distribution resembles natural human language more than just random gibberish. And then I learned about statistical linguistic features. And the text follows Zipf's law, which is a statistical distribution found in real languages where the most common word appears about twice as often as the second most common, and so on. So I'm going to do an entire episode on Zipf's law before this year is done, because there's lots to be said there, and it's very interesting about the frequency of words and the patterns they follow. But the words also lack contextual entropy. Like in normal writing, word choice varies by topic, and here the entropy, like the randomness, the disorder, remains oddly low throughout. Another thing I was curious about was the alphabet, and it appears that there are 20 to 30 unique characters depending on how you classify them. Some glyphs seem to function like vowels and consonants, so there's that. And there are also distinct graphemes, like letter shapes, that repeat in similar ways, again suggesting that the language has rules or structure. And some believe it's a hoax, maybe a medieval con job created to sell it to a rich collector. Others think it's a result of like mental illness, someone writing in an idiosyncratic private language perhaps. But like the sheer organization of it has me leaning away from mental illness. I worked in a hospital unit treating psychotic disorders for 5 years, and I never saw anything disorganized necessarily, but that's largely anecdotal. There are theories that link it to Roger Bacon, the 13th century philosopher, or to John Dee, Queen Elizabeth I court magician, or even Leonardo da Vinci, although the dates don't line up and the art seems well below da Vinci levels. There's also a growing theory that it's a women's health manual, like since the bathing women and the herbal pages seem to follow a kind of cycle, but even that's speculative. Furthermore, the manuscript has no clear origin. We don't know who wrote it or where, though I saw a researcher speculate that it may have been written near the European Alps based on some similarities in plants and some idiosyncratic design that is tied to that region, like the shape of the crowns that they drew, something odd like that. But there is no definitive author or patron or purpose. Again, it's not even clear what language family the text may belong to. If it's like Romance related or Semitic, none of the above. We just don't know. And today, the Voynich Manuscript lives at Yale University's Benneke Rare Book Library. It's been fully digitized, and like I said, go check it online. Anyone can view it online. I listed my source for the PDF in the YouTube description. It's pretty interesting, so I'd recommend checking that out, looking at the strange herbs, the bathing women, the looping lines of code, odd calendars, astronomy. Check it out. See if you know what it says. But unless something changes or you crack the code, it's going to remain what it is now, just a riddle with no answer, a book with no readable message. So there you have it, a real book made centuries ago, filled with strange images and written in a script no one can decipher. The Voynich Manuscript. It's proof that some mysteries don't just resist explanation, they might have been designed that way. Go check out my sources right now in the YouTube description. Head on over there and check out the Voynich Manuscript. Let me know what you think. Give me a comment, rate, like, subscribe. Anything like that would be appreciated. Share this with someone who's a code breaker. That'd be cool too, because what a mystery. A nice Mystery Week edition, in my opinion. But I chose it, obviously. So go check out the 1-minute version that I do of all these at Smartest Year Ever everywhere on social media. And in the meantime, stay curious and stay clever on our quest to become the world's greatest conversationalist. I will see you tomorrow in the Smartest Year Ever.